we want to democratize insights. We have all that knowledge available, but it's so much information that nobody can really process it. So that old stat from McKinsey that says employees or knowledge employees are really having 20% of their daily work is just dedicated to finding information. So therefore, the whole idea of insights democratization, so making everything available to everyone, is in principle a great idea, but you have to do it in a way that it's also digestible and that people find what they're looking for. And the example that we showed today was basically coming from, we've done a lot of people journeys, consumer decision journeys, however you call it in your companies or in your area. And we conducted around about 20 to 30 of them, but all in different countries, all on different segments of oral care. And then each journey answered a very specific business question for a very specific team. They worked with it, they really activated. But then when global folks like myself or then partners in crime, like stakeholders in global functions, and ask simple questions, we already have to say, I don't know. I can't find it out. I have to look through 30 research reports. I will maybe come to an answer. But it takes a lot of time, and I don't have time for that. So therefore, we needed something to really distill all of that information. That's when market logic came to play, as they have all that information already in their system. And then I basically challenged Olaf, say, okay, yeah, give me a solution for that. So just tell me how I can do my job better, or how can my team do a better job by answering these questions.
And to give you an example, and unfortunately the beamer doesn't display the gray shade quite beautifully, what you could do is you could ask a question like, how often do people use whitening products, and is that different by country or by demographic area? And then you count to 3 maybe, and what you could get back from the AI is a response that, by inspecting all the content that's in the system, trawling through all the findings, through all the documents, finds the most relevant pieces speaking to your question, and then summarizes them, not like just pulling out text as it's there, but summarizes them into an easy-to-consume answer, which you see at the middle, which maybe talks about how they would use it and more sporadically than toothpaste, etc. And it then can also generate further recommendations saying, hey, you may want to look at especially this kind of report, look at page 69, it discusses this aspect of usage behavior, which is exactly relevant for what you want to understand. And we strongly believe that this kind of interaction will be very valuable and will take a lot of time from the experts, and by virtue of being very natural in the interaction, you just ask a question and get an answer instead of punching keywords into search boxes and opening PDFs. It will be much more accepted by business users, and you can serve it through so many different channels to a user. And where do we want to go? We think about AI not as like the super intelligence that somehow magically connects dots that no human could ever see. Rather, we think of it as a good enough intelligence, but one that you can scale now. And so you can do things which you couldn't do before simply because you wouldn't have the resources. So imagine, for example, people ask questions to the system and we provide answers. And then maybe we track who has asked which question when, and we maybe automatically check for any kind of new information coming in and can distribute that automatically and say, hey, you have asked this business question 6 weeks ago. Here's a relevant update that just came in yesterday, and you should look at page 25 for what really talks to what you wanted to know.
Yeah.
So
and I think that last aspect is very important, because very often we get questions way ahead of the business decision, and then you provide some information, but then nobody asks you again, because then they base their business decision on it. And if they're sent 6 weeks, 8 weeks later, then we might have updated information, and therefore currently nobody is following up. And that's a very good use case where AI can come into play and just say, okay, I know somebody asked that question, so therefore I will provide that additional information or that updated information also to these stakeholders. So basically a very easy way to get to one-to-many communication models.